You know what? I grew up in a city with 22 lakes, and my mother said, "You're going to learn to swim, or you're going to drown." So I took swimming lessons, and the next thing you know, I was paddling at the club where I learned to swim at six years of age.
Fantastic stuff. C2, 1,000 meters, and we've got some pretty good teams here. I suppose we need to highlight in lane number 2, we've got the Olympic champions Peter Kretschmer and Kurt Kuschela, so they look together with Dmitry Rabjanka and Alexander Wojcicki. They're part of the legendary C4 team that doesn't get the Olympics but wins pretty much all the time. So there's some good teams in here. And obviously the Kazakhs, they've got a good history in this event. Lovely jumpers.
Well, if the fog comes in, we'll certainly be able to see them.
And 6, Mathieu Bonnet and Adrien Barr. So they're a young team, but they've got big ambitions.
The French have a tradition of canoeing, and certainly they've shown it. Gobel, we saw earlier in the C1, and they've had good C2s over the years. They know how to move that boat.
So going down the lanes with the Czech Republic, then Germany, 2 German teams in. Then we've got Belarus, Kazakhstan, France, another Belarus team, Canadian team, which will give us a few. There's a surname I recognise there, and the Czechs. So they actually are off.
We're all off the line. Here we go.
And the Canadians in your picture.
Good shot of Roland Varga and Gabriel Beauchamp-Sevigny, who's the veteran C2 paddler in Canada right now. He and Roland checking this combination out to see how it goes, and so far so good here in this 1,000-meter race.
At the top of your picture, we do have Kretschmer and Kuschela. As I say, they'd taken over, and last year they really showed that they were the top German team, which would surprise a few people, I suppose. They came from nowhere, but they did their stuff.
But it speaks to the depth of that system. There's always somebody knocking on the door to take over if the front runner slips. We've got a very interesting layout here. It's sort of the reverse of our typical seating. The crews on the outside, at least earlier on in the race, were the ones leading versus the middle.
Would that be? I guess that's the direction of the wind. It certainly was. Speaking to some of the people yesterday, they said they wanted to be in the top lanes if they had a choice.
That's right. It was coming from the side yesterday, more directly from behind today, so it's not so much of a factor. But boy, great race so far there for our Canadian crew.
Well, the director certainly likes them. They're out in front at the moment, so it's either you want to be in the top or the bottom lane. But the Germans. Neck and neck with your Canadians, who have to give them a pay rise.
Well, that's right, and the Czechs on the far side in lane 1 looking very strong as well.
Well, that's Jaroslav Radon, Filip Drouak. They had a bit of a disappointing Olympics because I believe they only came in 5th, but they're pretty much the stars is a big word here, but they're certainly the characters who a lot of people are expecting to do well.
You know, in the sport, and you've talked about the water and the wind, if you're in that top 5 consistently, anything can happen on any day. So they're a good quality crew that can challenge for a medal.
And I think we'll see some new noise if they're coming down in the last 250 metres. The actual Czech TV commentary team is next to us at the moment. They're looking fairly quiet, but I don't know why because they're doing pretty well, aren't they?
They are. Big boys, long paddles, and the design of those paddles is they're a little wider but a little shorter in terms of their vertical construction, and where you can reach out a long way. You don't have to bend forward so much and still get the paddle in nice and vertical for the pull.
Well, there you go. But so far they're putting down the... And they both speak. Oh, I spoke to Jaroslav Radon yesterday. His English is not perfect, well, neither is mine, but he did give us a good couple of answers to some questions. So thank you very much. He's on a lot of media attention over this weekend. It's their home regatta.
Absolutely, home team advantage, and they look great right now.
But if you remember, of course you do. But if you look at the Olympics, it was Kretschmer and Kuschela. They weren't leading for most of the way, and they suddenly stormed back and paced their race perfectly. But here's a great shot of the Czech duo.
It's a tight race there, and you know, this C2 race over the years has had many examples of a very, very tight field for 1,000 and 500 meters. And you can see it tightening up here a little bit. Canadians have faded somewhat here at the bottom of the picture, but at the top of the picture there are 4 crews, and that second, third, and fourth one all very tight.
100 meters to go, so now's the time to make your move. The Germans, have they got it in them in lane 2? But it looks like the Czechs at the moment are going to keep their home crowd really, really happy. 30 meters to go. I guess you call it.
I was just going to call it. I'm going to say, yeah, I think they're going to win this one too.
That's a great result for the home crowd and everyone who's put up an effort. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boats with not on the line, but always close in there.
Very close. Very exciting for that second, third, and fourth, as we were saying earlier. And boy, seeing that Canadian crew come in there, I think fourth, that is a great result for these guys, and speaks well to this new combination.
And the Germans, Ronald Vetch and Sebastian Henning, it looks like they beat their compatriots. That'll be good for them to shake up the results a bit.
That'll give the coaches a few headaches.
So we've got a 24 and a 26-year-old who won, so I guess they've got a few years in them yet. You have to take your hats off to these guys there for the power and balance and everything.
Well, you know, over the years, and I go back to when I was young paddling these boats, I swear they were a foot wider back then, so they're far more difficult to keep stable, especially in rough conditions, and to move that big body mass. And when you have tall guys like this where the center of gravity is so high, it's even more difficult.
Off camera, so you can't see it at home, but just below us, because we're coming to you live from Racice, the delighted Radon Dvorak, the hand up in the air to the crowd and to their mates, and so it's good to see. Most of the other teams just circling around, so they come across the line which is right in front of our commentary box, and then they circle around a bit. 3 boats go to the weight controllers below us, and the rest will go off for 10, 15, 20 minutes with a paddle. Like it's all about lactic acid and all that.
That's right. You know, if you're racing later, and even if you're going to train effectively in the days ahead, you have to get that lactate out of your muscles, and the cool down is as important as the warm-up. Perhaps more so.
You're brief in a few words as a high-performance director. What do you actually do? Do you have a whip, or do you have a carrot, or are you somewhere in between?
Yeah, big whip, I think. My role is really to make sure that the program and the system is in place, and I'm removed from the water. I'm not out there coaching, but it's my job to put the staff in place to ensure that the team is supported with all the services they need and the right expertise, and that would include sports science as well, things like that.
Results, unofficial results, Czech, Germany. Your Canadians came in fourth, and then the Belarus, they've been always on around about there. They're fifth, France, Kazakhstan, Czechs, and second